A couple hundred years ago, the only thing you had to worry about was a hangover.
You telling me you're an investigator?
More or less.
Today, because of your curse thingy, you can't sleep with anyone.
We're not a team. I'm your boss.
Or else you might feel a moment of true happiness,
You got a real addiction to the brooding part of life.
lose your soul,
Except for the bulk of it where I was nearly tortured to death.
become evil again,
You're a demon hunter.
Road demon hunt.
and kill everyone.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Thanks, Cornelia. I always appreciate your perspective.
Hello, and welcome to Ale with Angel. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
And today on Ale with Angel, we are reviewing Season 3, Episode 5, Fredless.
Fredless.
I promise, I can read my own handwriting.
I find that difficult to believe.
Sometimes so do I.
You know, for this being called Fredless, it's pretty Fredful.
Yeah, it really is.
There's a whole lot of Fred.
Yeah.
I'll take all the Fred I can get.
Always got to take it to the sexy place, don't you?
What? Okay, yeah, you're right.
As long as we're still on the same
I
page.
can't even fight it. It's going to try and be like, oh, since when is that noise associated with sex in any way or capacity other than ever, always?
Exactly.
Like cavemen were going when getting slapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact.
Mm-hmm. I was there.
Oh, were you?
I saw it.
You're immortal now?
Mm-hmm. I saw it with my own two doodle-doos.
I don't think that works the way you think that works.
I don't think you know that thinks how works it do it.
Moving on.
I have to be up at 6 a.m.
Which is quite unfortunate.
It's going to be fun.
You have to be awake in 10 hours.
Yep.
In 10 minutes.
Yep.
Congratulations.
I'm both groggy and tired and yet more well-rested than I was a few hours ago. It's going to be a fun night.
Well, on with the show, which is, hey, brought to you by our executive producers.
Fuck-a-doodle-doo!
Yes. Over there on Patreon, we have Audrey, 2 French last names, Bridget McCloy, Dead Serious, Ali B, Nathan Lancy, Dulcinea, Rachel Gregory, Rachel Doodle-Doo, Dee Sheringhausen, Club... Oh, goodness, she changed it.
Uh-oh.
Club the Seals with Boughs of Holly.
Oh, no!
Club the Seals with Boughs of Holly. There we go. Mr. Tabalicious, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Christina, Catherine Parkinson, Karen Moon, Chris V-Man, Pat Likes Turtles, Scarlett Choi, Bad at Changing Their Name Heaps, Andy Burgess, K. Fro Horse Dildo with a BWB logo gnome. Ha! I fucking managed it!
You've been practicing.
Father Defenestrato, Methuen DeBurr, Kelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips. Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally is not possible.
I have one thing to say to that, Rex.
What's that?
I'll Rachel your doodle-doo. I wanted to say it so bad while you were reading the list, but then I did not.
Well, I appreciate not completely destroying my flow.
Well,
Clubby Seal did that one.
It wasn't for you, Rex. It was for me.
Ah. Yeah, that's fair.
It's always... This is about me, okay? Me.
If there's anything we can agree on, it's that you will care about you.
As it should be. All is right in the world.
Do you want to announce a break?
Yeah, I got that. I was just going to do that anyway.
Okay.
You can't tell me what to do.
I wasn't. I was making a friendly suggestion.
You're not my real daddy.
I'm not.
Which is why it's so much better that way. So, hey guys, you're going to love this news. Rex and I are going on a short surprise sabbatical, but it shouldn't be a surprise at all because we mentioned it last episode, but we're going out of our way to mention it twice this episode. It's going to be a much shorter break than our last one and the one before that. We plan on coming back in January. We've got some stuff to handle. Work and personal lives are getting busy for the holidays.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate.
And my fiance is currently graduating from grad school. So
Woo!
that is a whole big thing.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I can't even imagine.
Lots of stress in my house. Lots of stress.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sources tell me.
And your source is me.
Yeah, it's a pretty good source.
At least I hope it's me. If you're finding out things in my house that are not through me or Caitlin, I would be confused and or worried.
Well, get ready to be confused and or worried.
Oh, shit, it's Edgar, isn't it?
Actually, it's Stormy.
Oh. Well, that's impressive. He barely ever makes any noise.
Their rabbit is a bit of a narc.
Oh, yeah, that tracks.
He comes to me in the night.
But yeah, our break won't last long, just through the holidays mainly. And we'll be back in, infiltrating your ear holes come the new year.
I just shake a jar of freeze-dried bananas from across the city and wait 10 minutes.
They're not freeze-dried. They're just regular dehydrated.
Or, fine. Fine. That's fine, Rex.
It is.
You don't know what I feed your rabbit when you're not there.
That's actually a valid point.
Anyway, yeah. But if you still need to get your fix, I am still totally active over on Wubba Lubba Pod with Alex from the Heart. And we have just finished season 1 of rewatching through Rick and Morty and digging up as much shit about it as we can.
Oh, you're done with season 1?
Yeah, we just finished season 1.
Damn.
We're throwing out as much lore tracking and fan theorying and conspiracy theories about Rick and Morty as we can. We love picking shows where we just absolutely hate one of the creators because Justin Roiland can go fuck himself permanently.
Yeah.
And it's great because we still love the show. It's got its moments. It's got its shitty moments. If you hate Rick and Morty, come on over and listen to my Rick and Morty podcast, and maybe we can fix that because I love making Rick and Morty converts. It's got a bad rap with a lot of people.
The fandom.
And that bothers me.
Fandom gives it a bad rap.
It does. Yeah, it bothers me because I'm part of several fandoms that get a bad rap. Like the entire Source Engine Half-Life 2 fandom got pretty shitty for a while there over Half-Life 3 and other things. And the cake is a lie. It's shut up, guys.
I would argue that the norm is fandoms get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take much of a percentage of the fandom to be shitty for it to spoil the entire fucking fandom.
It's the shitty ones that are always the loudest ones, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
That being said, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer fandom has a great name, as far as I know.
For the most part, yeah. During the initial controversy of finding out more about Joss Whedon, there was a kind of a split between the groups within the fandom.
Okay.
I
was going to say that doesn't affect the fandom at all, but I see what you're saying.
You know how it is with assholes like that.
Yeah.
They always have their fucking staunch supporters no matter what they do.
There were plenty of apologists, I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
But yeah, Wubba Lubba Pod, or just go to just Google it. Wubba Lubba Pod, you'll find us.
Yeah. I've done that. I Googled it recently to share the link with a friend, and it was very easy to find.
You make me sick.
I was sharing your podcast with a friend.
You Googled me without my permission?
Yes. That's what Google is for.
It's so dirty.
That's what Google's for.
It's for non-consensual Googling.
Yes, in fact. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about your podcast. We're here to talk about this podcast.
Oh, well, fuck you.
Well, actually, no, we're here to talk about Angel. So how about a mom synopsis?
Joshua! What are you doing, Joshua? Quiet down. I've got a horrible tension headache. Those are some pretty good-looking crystals you have on the side of your head there, Joshua. Yes, they're lovely, but I fancy myself in autumn. You're so quirky today, Joshua. Do you want some toast, Joshua? I bought this new toaster on Amazon, and I can't figure out how to work it. Sure, let me just... Oh, Lord God, Joshua, your head just got chopped in half, and there's cockroaches spilling out of it at an alarming rate. Well, I wish I had the wherewithal to disagree with you, Mother, but when you're right, you're right. Do you need medical assistance, Joshua? Seems likely. Here's my cell phone, Joshua. I don't really know how to use this newfangled technology these days. You're so much gooder with it than I am. You sit on your phone all goddamn day. Oh my God, my head's been chopped in half. You can't even make a fucking phone call? All right, okay, don't get all in a tizzy. I'll call the exterminator. You go finish the dishes. The exterminator? Damn it, woman! I'm decapitated! Based on a true story, guys. This really happened. Jesus Christ. Oh, you're just like your father, Joshua. You'll be fine. Because today on Angel, the writers of Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer conspire to troll their entire fandom indefinitely by refusing to tell us the story of events which canonically happened between episodes to the characters Angel and Buffy during their reunion. Also, more specifically to this episode, Angel kills a Dursler demon while getting ice cream with Fred. Fred's parents show up looking for her, even though she wrote them a letter telling them not to. Fred runs to Lauren for help, who tells her to run farther. So the A-Team and Fred's parents find her at the bus station, where Fred breaks down emotionally as she finally accepts the trauma and reality of having been kidnapped into an alternate dimension for 5 years. Their reunion is stunted by the arrival of a giant mantis demon that Fred's mother kills with a bus. As Fred prepares to go home with her parents, she has an epiphany about some crystallized bug goop, which leads her to correctly discern that there are eggs about to hatch from the severed Dursler head sitting in the lobby at the hotel. She saves them by chopping the head open so the swarm of giant mantis demons can take what they want and leave in peace. Fred decides she's staying because this is where she belongs, and there's no turning back to a normal life. The end.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. As soon as the sun goes down, vampire. As soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing.
So I just have a few things to say about your mom synopsis.
Okay.
One, kudos on real-world inspiration with the tension headache.
Yeah, you're welcome.
2, your mom totally would hand you her phone to have you call 911 for yourself.
Yeah, I know.
So, points for true to life. And 3, if there was any mom synopsis that I wish was animated, this is the winner.
Hey, if anybody out there wants to put that mom synopsis into an animation, I will personally buy you a free hoodie.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so fucking awesome.
A Beer with Buffy, or you know what? A Beer with Buffy and an Ale with Angel hoodie.
I wish I could do that kind of art. I wish I could do that kind of art still.
Yeah.
I could never manage animation anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that was...
That was a fun one. I'm happy about that one. I don't know how much of it I'm going to edit down, but...
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, man.
So, an actual cold open...
Yes.
As we start here with dramatic music and a blade in a close-up on Wesley's face. You wouldn't dare. You were just going to toss in a Prothgarian broadsword with a 3rd century ceremonial Sanctius dagger. And we zoom out, and the intense music fades out quickly with a classic comic timing. Cordy's like, let me see. Long, metal, pointy? Yup.
Yep. Cordy and Wesley debating the ethics of proper weapon storage. Well, actually, no. Proper weapon sorting.
Sorting and
Yes.
storage, yeah.
They're doing kind of an inventory on all the weapons because apparently Angel's all persnickety about, which weapons go where, which weapons go with what dress, and do they match his shoes?
Did they say that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, man,
I'm trying for humor here.
I missed something. No, good job. Well done. Good job.
No, they're doing inventory because, well, they don't have anything fucking else to do.
Yeah, apparently. Cordy asks what we're all thinking. Who's in charge here? You or the guy with the pancreas dagger? Which, of course, is a play on her mispronouncing Sanctius dagger. Ha 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 ha. Either way, she just cut off Wesley's balls with a pancreas dagger.
Nah.
Okay, not literally.
That sounds gory and not needed.
Yeah, well, I mean, how many little know-it-all British children do we need running around?
That's a valid point. There's plenty of those in the world.
Yeah, it's all right. He can still be healthy and happy, and maybe even have a sex life without balls. We'll just do a vasectomy. It'll be fine. Oh dear. Fred wants to know what time it is. Wes looks annoyed and shows Cordy his watch. Then Cordy informs Fred that it's 3 minutes from the last time she asked. As Fred explains her theory on quantum physics, Cordy interrupts that Angel will be back when he gets back. Fred changes the subject to Buffy, wondering if they're going to get back together.
Which goes into a quote of the day.
Yep.
From Wesley here. One of my quotes of the day. Well, Fred, that's a difficult question. I think it's fair to say, no, not a chance, never, no way, not in a million years, and also, nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. Not sure I'm picking up what you're laying down, Wesley. Is that a yes? That sounds like a yes.
I'm not hearing a no.
So you're saying there's a chance. Well, no, he specifically said
Yes.
not a chance. He didn't say 1 in a million.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
no,
there's
not a chance, never. No way, not in a million years. Nuh-uh. It was the nuh-uh that did it to me.
Yeah, I appreciated the nuh-uh the most as well. Very thorough, Wesley. That's what I like about you. Your attention to detail.
And then cue just one of my favorite moments in this show in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
They do a dramatic reading that honestly is comparable to yours.
It's like identical. Oh my fucking God.
If
Cordy's
it weren't for the fact that I know without a doubt that you did that dramatic reading first off 5 years ago for like the first time you did it.
Yeah. Without having seen that show.
And you hadn't seen Angel or Buffy in a while.
For like 15
when
years.
we first started doing this. So like I know exactly how detached from this scene you were. You probably had no idea that it even existed when you made that joke. And it is like you fucking wrote it.
I know, right? Except not as good.
Well, like specifically one of the lines that Wesley says where he's like, I forgot to brood.
Yeah.
Like it's holy shit.
I was definitely feeling the energy. The dramatic reading
energy.
energy.
It was so good. I had to fucking pause it and just sit there and laugh for a solid 10 minutes.
Actually, I was like, no, Wesley, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to say, God damn it, Gordy. Don't you know how broody I am?
I mean, their version has to be edited for TV.
They can say God damn it. They can say damn it at least.
Yeah. I don't think they could actually, at that time, say God damn it.
Yeah, you still run into issues with that because everybody's a bunch of fucking Puritans.
Yep.
In this country.
Our country was fucking founded by them. What do you expect?
Literally. So, yeah, that pretty much covers it. Because Cordy feels the need to act it out. And she's, let me demonstrate. And she puts on a little play for Fred.
Do you want to do a dramatic reading of the dramatic reading?
You know, I feel obligated to now.
I mean, you got to show him who's boss.
Yeah. So, Cordy, as Buffy, starts it off. Oh, Angel, I know that I'm a slayer and you are a vampire, and it would be impossible for us to be together, but... And Wesley, as Angel, stands up and gingerly puts his glasses off to the side. My gypsy curse sometimes prevent me from seeing the truth. Oh, Buffy. Yes, Angel. Oh, I love you so much. I almost forgot to brood. And just because I sent you to hell that one time doesn't mean that we can't just be friends. Oh, or possibly more. Gasp! No, we mustn't. Kiss me. Bite me. Oh.
How about you both bite me?
Yeah. Because, yeah, Angel crashes that party. He interrupts, why don't you both bite me? And then they put Cordy in there as a proxy to speak for fans across the chasm of the Eons, because Gunn asks how it went with his reunion with Buffy, and Angel snarkily responds, oh, those two pretty much summed it up. But also he says he doesn't want to talk about it, to which Cordy responds, but, Angel, we're your friends. And it's not healthy to repress stuff like this. You need to share your pain, express those feelings of grief and longing, or the curiosity is going to kill me. She finally just lets it go, and she's like, God damn it, tell me, because I can't not know, because I'm a nosy bitch. Deal with it. And I appreciate your honesty, Cordy.
I desperately want to know if this was the showrunners actually wanting to troll the fans.
That's what it's looking like at this point.
Like, the fact that the comic exists and does absolutely nothing to fucking show what happened.
Yeah.
Like, that tells me it's trolling. It's gotta be.
Yeah, somebody told Jane Espenson, you can't actually make a real story out of this.
Yeah.
Because we want to piss off one person in particular, and we don't care who we kill in the process.
But yeah, oh God. Sorry. I need a moment. I was thinking about that fucking comic book again.
Yep, ditto. I'm pretty pissed about it too.
Okay. I'm through it.
Yep. So Angel's fully content to leave Cordelia permanently toiling with blue balls and the entirety of their fandom, which is ravenous 20 years later.
Yes.
So then he grabs his date buddy and takes her out for ice cream. By the way, that's Fred.
Yes. I liked the very last two lines in the scene where Cordy's saying, now we'll never, ever know. And you just hear Angel off in the distance. That's right.
That's right. This really is them trolling the fucking fandom. I mean, that part really was funny, though.
No, it was excellent. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I would have found all of this way more entertaining and funny if that fucking comic didn't exist.
If the comic just didn't exist at all.
Yep.
It just didn't need to exist. So, yeah, cut to the sewers where Fred does some good old-fashioned babbling. I think the most important takeaway was that they ran into a demon at the ice cream place, and that Fred would like to make a condo in the sewers because she finds them homey, among other things.
Specifically, the line I wrote down from this that I really fucking loved was, she says, sewers which are just so bleak and oppressive and homey, I could build a condo down here.
Bleak, oppressive, homey, exactly. All of those words I completely associate with one another.
Yeah.
That tracks. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, so while Fred's enjoying some nice self-deprecation and getting Angel to disagree with her, she notices some crystals. And just like on the side of the wall, I guess. And Angel sends her back to the hotel. And she sticks her head back around the corner just to make sure one more time, for like the fourth time, that, now you sure you don't need me?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I'm fine. And just as she fucks off around the corner, we see a Dursler demon rise up right behind Angel.
Yep.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And opening credits. Meow, 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 meow. Ow.
I told you I'd throw shit at you.
Thank you. Thank you for correcting me.
We go back to the hotel where inventory continues.
Inventory continues, yes.
Which, you know, it makes sense because inventory always takes way longer than you want it to.
Yes.
Always.
Inventory always continues. It never ends.
Exactly.
That's why you hire other people to do it.
Oh, God. I actually know a guy who, like, fucking 15, 20 years ago, got a job at one of those companies that does inventory for other stores.
Oh, God. Yeah, I did that once.
And he fucking loved it.
Oh,
he
ew.
loves it so much because he still works there.
Ew.
Now, granted, he's like management now or some shit,
You better be.
but like he's done it for years.
Ew.
Like, granted, this company, when they do inventory, they just have hand scanners and you just scan everything.
Still.
You don't actually have to write anything.
Still.
The last retail job I did, we had to actually fucking write a bunch of shit.
Ugh.
Yeah. And like keep lists and fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, the inventory company I worked for, like 2 shifts because my mom had picked up this weird, stupid job. And of course, she was trying to push me into getting a job from the age of fucking 12.
Yeah.
She got me on a couple of these calls, and they had these gigantic, obnoxious calculators that looked like they're from the 70s.
Jesus.
And I guarantee that store did not get a good count. I saw the way that these people were counting. They were just counting with their eyes,
Dude.
not their hands.
The worst inventory.
And just going clackety, clackety, clackety on these
Right.
fucking calculators. I'm like, there's no way you're typing real things.
The worst inventory I ever had to do was when I worked at Radio Shack. Because this was back in the day when they had the fucking parts drawers with all the tiny little fucking components for building circuit boards.
Blah.
And we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of small, tiny little fucking components that you have to fucking... It's like trying to count a box of buttons.
I was going to say rice.
Not quite that bad. They were bigger than that. And they were in little, like, plastic little baggies and shit. But it was still like... Imagine a box full of, like, shirt buttons.
Yeah.
That's what it was like to count that shit.
Yeah, fuck that. Wow.
Yeah.
Even this conversation about inventory just won't end.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's because it's inventory.
That's because it's inventory. Exactly.
I don't want to share my feelings. I don't want to open up. I want to find the guy that killed Tina, and I want to look him in the eye. Then what? Then I'm going to share my feelings.
Anyway, Wesley reminisces about slaying a poodle with his spear. I guess. I don't know if he actually killed the poodle. Did he kill the poodle?
Well, the poodle's owners weren't happy. We know that.
Yeah, they weren't happy.
It sounds like he certainly skewered it, which makes it
'Cause-
pretty likely that he murdered the poodle.
Yeah, because it was a trident. They call it like a 3-pointed spear or something like that.
But it's a fucking trident. Yeah.
A spear with 3 points is a fucking trident.
Yeah, get back under the ocean, asshole. You've got work to do.
And it's
There's
about
some sea poodles that need murdering.
It's about this time, as Wesley is reminiscing about murdering poodles, when Gunn leans over to Cordy and is like, hey, could you maybe have a teeny little vision so that we can stop doing this?
Yeah, hey, I'm bored. And she's like, oh, sure. One of those skull-splitting, horrendous, emotionally draining or whatever. I don't know. They're bad. They're real bad.
They're bad.
You want me to have
okay?
one of those bad things for you? How about no? And then she's like, ow, 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 which is never, in fact, how she exclaims pain for having a vision. But he's all, yes, have a vision. Yes. Milk that vision, you vision cow.
But no, she didn't have a vision. She stubbed her toe on some invention that Fred made, and it's either a decapitation device or a toaster.
Or it makes toast. It could make toast. I doubt that it makes toast. It looks nothing like a toaster.
Right? Like it has a kind of slot.
I guess it kind of
only
looks
has
like
one.
a big toaster.
Right.
If you could make toast in a
Like
suitcase.
if you want to toast an entire loaf of bread at once.
Several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sure. But it has an axe sticking
I
out
think
of
that's
it.
called
That
an
just-
oven. That's just a straight up oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even own a toaster.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just toast bread on my stove.
That's a very interesting piece of trivia about you, Rex.
I have a griddle. Why do I need a toaster?
I'm so happy to know this. So, yeah, it looks like a suitcase rigged with an axe that's triggered by a spatula. It's a contraption built by Fred. They all admire it, wondering if it's a wicked weapon or if it makes toast. The two middle-aged people then walk in the front door wanting to talk about finding their lost daughter. And Wesley invites them all into the office to talk about it and starts taking notes. Aha, we have a new client. Let's go. Yeah. So they divulge that they've already hired a detective, and he said that she was staying here in this hotel, and her name is Winifred Burkle. Oh, shit. So they're Fred's parents.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. And so out in the lobby, we see Fred returning from the sewers, finishing up her ice cream, and she sees her parents through the office door and has a visible oh fuck moment.
Yep, and she just skedaddles up the stairs.
Bolts right up the stairs. Back to the office, they all tiptoe and backtrack around things as they, stupidly earlier were just openly talking about vampires and evil fiends.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, this is a couple of normies, plus they know Fred. We have to lie to them, quick. We can't possibly tell anyone the truth ever.
And they tell her parents that Fred was depressed for 5 years.
They tell them she's here and she's fine and she's out right now. They found her in a fit of depression from having relocated and not adjusting well, which isn't false.
No, they're not lying.
Yeah.
They're just leaving out some, useful tidbits of information.
Yeah. Like
some context, if you will.
I mean, who needs to know about the demons in the alternate dimension? Could have just as easily been she got kidnapped.
Human traffickers.
Some dudes. Yeah, exactly.
That's a real thing that still happens today.
Unfortunately.
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Not as much as everybody wants to believe. Like, that's actually a big conspiracy theory that is really out of control. But
if I were in their position, I would have some handy stories practiced and memorized within the group to deal with normies.
Some code words.
Maybe because they live in AwA.
Yeah.
One of the largest cities in the world, and they just assume they're never going to run into normal people?
Yeah.
I mean, it is LA. I give them that.
Oh, it's kind of the same issue they run into in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where it's like how much of the town is aware of the demon problem since they're on the Hellmouth. And they kind of just shoved all that out the window after a couple seasons. When the entire high school threw Buffy a party or a thank you, gave her a big thank you at the graduation or whatever. To be like, we know this isn't a normal place.
Right.
And you're the Slayer, blah.
The book series Dresden Files, I think the idea that exists in that book is kind of my headcanon for how it works in the Buffyverse. Mm-hmm. And that is that people are so uncomfortable with things that they can't explain that after bad shit happens, they will retroactively kind of rewrite their own memory to... No, that didn't happen. That was just someone on drugs.
Yeah. Just like Principal Snyder was always like, they're on PCP.
Right, exactly.
Or I think Douglas Adams said it best in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They put up a not my problem field around it.
Somebody else's problem field.
Okay, that.
Yeah. No, I love
Same diff.
I love the somebody else's problem field.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It makes you so uncomfortable, it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And I can get behind that headcanon.
Mm-hmm.
But still, come on, you guys are professionals. Have some ready-made lies.
Right. Yeah, just call the vampires drug dealers or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not that exactly, but work something out, for fuck's sake.
I do like, through this whole fucking scene, Gunn is so defensive about how they're not really detectives. It's shown that the detective they hired got where Fred was from an unaddressed envelope.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that's impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
But but Gunn is totally like, oh yeah, we could totally do that. we're not amateurs, I promise.
Mm-hmm. I think he's trying to convince himself more than anyone else, really. Because a month ago, Fred, I don't think they even really needed the letter so much as a name to go on and last known location.
Yeah.
Because, Fred wrote a letter home saying she was okay, but didn't leave a return address, and specifically told them not to come look for her. And, okay, I still would as well.
Right. Oh, yeah.
If it were
it's
a family member
daughter
that came up missing.
For fuck's sake, the moment you read a letter from your daughter who's been missing for 5 years and you know it's her handwriting and she's like, oh, don't come look for me, you think, oh, she's in distress. She needs someone to fucking save her.
Exactly. Yeah, why would you say don't come look for me? Why?
Which I will say this. It makes sense to me that Fred would not think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
She's desperate. She doesn't want to face this. I get it. I totally get it. And she isn't the best with people, so maybe she would think that, oh, if I tell him not to look for me.
It certainly makes sense within the context of the episode later. So Angel barges in with a severed head, going on about how these demons don't usually put up much of a fight. He might even have it mounted. Cordelia plays the cover-up game. She's like, oh, look, you brought a movie prop from your job where you make monster movies. These are Fred's super normal parents. And I'm like, yeah, and they wouldn't suspect anything.
I love how Angel's response is, Fred has parents.
Right. Well, and, that made me think. I'm like, you generally, when you get to know people, sometimes you don't think about them having family.
Yeah.
Parents, children, etc. They're just that separated entity to you.
Yeah.
That's right. People are just entities to me.
Yes.
That
explains so much.
I'm super normal, you see. Nothing weird about that. Nothing to read into there. So we cut to Fred's room. Fred frantically tries to wipe the walls clean of her scribblings with a dry towel.
Yeah.
Now I know she's crazy.
Yeah.
We always kind of wondered a little bit. Now I'm positive. So back in the office, Mr. Burkle, or Roger? Roger is his name.
Roger and...
Trish.
Yes, Trish.
Or I don't know
Roger
if it's
and
Trisha, but Trish. Roger informs Angel that his prop is dripping, which makes Angel act extra awkward, swinging it around, saying, oh, this old thing, paper mache, glue, hucks it in the back room, crash, maybe some lead. Probably that mirror from the last episode is what it hit. The one where we're like, how would he know the mirror was there?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they want to know when Fred will be home, and he assumes she's up in her room right now.
Yeah. They head up to Fred's room, which is clean. Like, Fred managed to get it clean. Obviously, there's still all the shit written on the walls.
Other than the writing on the walls.
But the wall, or the room itself is clean. And, hey, look, none of her clothes are there, and there isn't a Fred.
Well, the writing's on the walls, Rex.
Yes, the writing is, in fact, on the walls. That maybe something's up here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yep, literally and figuratively, for a change. So they find a discarded ice cream cone butt and a bunch of crazy writing on the wall, obviously, but no Fred. The dad Roger is all, we want our daughter. And I'm all, well, I want a toilet made out of solid gold, but it's just not in the cards. Now is it, baby?
I wouldn't want a toilet made out of solid gold. That sounds...
Well, also, it's already been done.
Also just sounds hard to clean.
Well, why bother? Elvis actually had a solid gold toilet, yeah. And it's still there. You can go see it.
But can you use it?
You're not supposed to? But I was listening to a podcast where somebody claims that they dared their friend to go take a big old stanky shit in it and not flush.
Oh, my God.
And they did it. I can't remember how much of that sounded like it was actually true or not. So, I don't know. Go ahead and look that up or something. And I think that's the toilet he died on.
Probably.
Isn't that poetic?
Man, rich people are weird.
Right?
You're not real. Or I'm not real. Somebody here isn't real, and I suspect it's you. So if you're not real, then that means that my head came off back there and that I'm dead now. Dead.
So Wesley wonders what Fred is running from.
Yeah, Wesley Gunn and Cordy kind of huddle up on the side, and they think something's up with Fred's parents. Mostly because since when has Fred ever left the fucking hotel on her own?
Yeah.
Never.
And also, the parents are acting kind of scary. Like when someone looks at you and says, "I want my daughter." It's like,
well, and
okay,
we overhear.
we're trying to help you get your daughter.
We overhear one of them whisper to the other one, maybe we should call them in sooner than we thought.
Yeah.
Retrospectively, later, this will make more sense.
But it's pretty suspicious. There's a few red herrings running around in this episode, and that is a big one. Because
I didn't know fish could run. That's impressive.
Well, they can when they're fake.
That makes sense.
So, and speaking of fish running, Fred runs down the street, and then we cut back to the lobby where Cordelia, Wesley, and Gunn and Angel are in the office. While the parents are out in the lobby, Cordy's suspicious of the parents. Gunn brings up the letter again. What if they're lying about it as a way to trick them into letting them get close to Fred? Or if it's real, Fred told them not to look for her, so where did Fred go? Gunn only half-jokingly mentions taco stands. Angel thinks maybe the sewers, since she felt so safe there.
Yeah.
Wesley thinks maybe the library to find old friends, which I thought was a pretty good idea.
No, that's actually, I think, a decent idea. Cordelia
sticks her head out the door, and the parents look up at her suddenly, and she ducks back inside like it's a fucking horror film.
Right. Well, it's obvious that they're thinking these aren't necessarily Fred's parents, but maybe things after Fred, pretending to be her parents.
Oh, yeah, they could be just taking the image of her parents or something. They could be T-1000s.
Yeah.
They could be one T-1000 that split itself in half.
Exactly. You never know.
You never know.
But they decide, they just can't leave the parents here, so someone's got to take the parents with them. So it's decided that Angel's going to go search the sewer on his own, under the cover of talking to industry contacts.
Yeah.
And then Fred's parents go with Wesley, Cordy, and Gunn to the library.
And Roger's like, wait, she's not making movies, is she? Clearly implying
you can tell,
porn.
Yeah, porn.
Yeah. And Angel's like, wait, no. That's a great idea. No, he didn't say that. I'm just dirty. I'm a dirty, dirty boy.
Yeah.
I'm a bad boy, and you should punish me, Daddy. You should all see Rex's face right now. See, now I really am a bad person.
Hate you.
Yeah, you should. It's unforgivable. So, okay, so she's not making porn that we know of. And cut to
Caritas, which is still a mess.
Completely fucked.
Fred goes to see Lorne, disrupts Lorne in his leisure time watching Judge Judy. I remember that show.
Yeah, who doesn't? That doesn't mean it was good.
No, it
It
wasn't.
was such bullshit.
Yeah.
Now there's 8 million knockoffs of it.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, Judge Judy was a fucking knockoff, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
She wasn't even the first one?
No, People's Court.
Oh,
People's
God.
Court, I think, was the first one.
All right.
But that also might be a knockoff for all I know. Fuck, I don't know.
Right. So Lorne puts out a cigarette on the table while he's groggily walking to the door. The table immediately falls over and glass shatters immediately. And he has zero reaction to this because he's in the fuck everything mode.
Yeah.
And to hell with Fred. Oh, nice to see you. Okay, thanks, bye.
And she busts in the door singing Row, Row Your Boat.
Yeah, she's very aggressively singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I'm like, whoa.
Loudly and aggressively.
Even if you couldn't get spiritual readings off of somebody from that, I'd still be like, easy there, killer.
Calm the fuck down and let's just have a calm conversation.
Yeah. And, he looks like he's got either a terrible hangover or a migraine or something as she does this. Finally, he sits down and he's like, okay, I see you're fucked. You know what your problem is? And she's like, I'm not strong enough to face my fears? Nope. You haven't run far enough. Here, eat this gigantic red herring. Fucking eat it. I've been cooking it since last scene when your parents said, is it time yet?
It's another thing where it's like, it makes so much sense that Lorne would be like, oh, you're running from your completely normal family. Run from your family. Family is terrifying.
Oh,
Given
yeah.
his history.
With his past.
Yeah.
That does make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that was going to be my big question for the episode. Well, I guess this has been Ale with Angel. I'm Josh.
I'm not done with the episode.
Well, it's all you.
We cut quickly to the sewers where Angel is searching. There's an insect-like thing that watches him. And then we cut back to the library.
In the library, the parents grill Cordy on Fred's library habits. Didn't Fred work at the library?
Yes.
Wasn't she a librarian who also studied math?
I believe so.
So why wouldn't her parents know about that?
I think she was a grad student or something.
Yeah, but all they seem to know is that, she used to love the community library back home.
Yeah, she always stayed there while her mom did her rounds or whatnot. And Cordy's like, oh, were you a doctor? And she's like, no, I was a school bus driver.
Yeah. Oh, no wonder Fred's so smart. There's a doctor in the family. Actually, I'm a bus driver. Well, I call bullshit. That lady, Trish, seems way too calm and well-adjusted to be a bus driver, physically fit, and not a smoker.
Maybe she's just so far gone that she seems that way.
She's wrapped around full circle.
Exactly.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
No, being a bus driver mangles you physically and mentally into the grave.
I can imagine that if you like children, being a bus driver could be cool, depending on the age group.
What you're describing doesn't exist. What?
People who like children?
People who like
children. Some people like children.
Even if you like children, even if... So you're an extrovert, let's say, who enjoys the company of children. The job will still take its toll on you physically.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, I'm just jaded.
Yeah.
I hated being a bus driver, and it ruined me. But I never drove a school bus.
Right.
So I imagine that's not quite as physically demanding as being a city bus driver.
I imagine driving a school bus is a lot like the wheelchair accessible bus I drive at work on occasion.
Yeah, it's just a couple hours a day in the morning and then in the afternoon.
But that bus is a lot more like driving a U-Haul truck. And I imagine driving a city bus like what you drove is not like driving a U-Haul truck.
I mean, actually, no, it kind of is. It's just really long.
Okay, then.
But the chairs were terrible. Like, yeah, I think U-Hauls are more comfortable. But, so anyway, yeah, Roger gets scary again. He wants to know why a physicist is working for a detective agency. I say, oh, geez, I went foghorn leghorn on you. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Well,
luckily his accent is not that thick.
At least he knows she's a physicist. So there's something that they know about their daughter. Fred's gone through some changes. Isn't that how Cordy says it?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, whose fault is that? And I'm like, well, I'd like to know what the fuck kind of question that is.
Yeah. You haven't seen your daughter for 5 years. You expect her to have not changed at all?
Yeah.
Even if she hadn't, been abducted to another dimension or anything like that, you change in 5 years.
Yeah. And why is your very first question, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Is it anybody's fault? I don't think that's how that works. That's not how that works.
It's time's fault.
Like
time changes you.
He's being instigative.
Yeah.
There.
To be fair, he's very worried about his daughter.
I guess. Fine.
I'd be pretty angry. And from his perspective, it probably looks like these people are just giving them the runaround.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah. And so Wes...
We didn't murder your daughter at all. Right. We didn't sell her into slavery.
She's not chained up in the basement. Funny that you should question that, even though I brought it up without provocation.
We're not feeding on her.
People don't do that.
That's crazy talk. So... Wes and Gunn come downstairs, not having found any sign of Fred.
Yep.
They confer privately again. This is like the third time they've done it, and not the last. Gunn still thinks taco stand. Cordy still is suspecting the parents more than ever. Wesley wonders where she would go for help and guidance.
it suddenly clicks as to where the fuck she would go for help and guidance.
And cut to the sewer where Angel, who is not scared at all,
And has cell phone service in the sewer, which is fucking impressive.
very impressive, he jumps at his phone ringing, and it's Wesley.
Yeah.
And they both realize simultaneously where she would go for help and guidance, and he's like, and we call ourselves detectives. We can't even track someone down on an unaddressed letter. Jesus. I mean, Keanu. So as he walks away the other direction again, the Mantis Demon stands ominously in the middle of the tunnel as Angel turns to leave.
A person needs certain designer things. You shouldn't be trying to eat my friend's brains. Hey, you're a vampire.
Back to Caritas. Everyone is there. Lorne is very noticeably hostile with Gunn.
Yeah.
And basically tells him to go wait outside, which, kind of makes some sense.
And after they all barge in on Lorne, nobody even offers him a nice spiked Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Bunch of assholes.
Bunch of assholes. Of course, all they'd need to do is give him the Kool-Aid. There's still plenty of booze there.
Yeah, seriously. And I think he's been, he can't get drunk, can he?
I don't recall.
That's the thing, canonically.
You're right, it is. He can't get drunk. God, that would be depressing.
Very.
Imagine...
Because they're impervious to poison.
Right, imagine being in the state that he is and, so upset about his club being ruined like this, and he can't even get drunk about it.
Yeah, and half of his clientele murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would suck.
But,
How do you live without a toxic coping mechanism? Damn.
Right? I actually don't have a good answer for that.
No.
So Gunn shows himself out after Lorne gets bitter and snide about the size of the group being too small. Where's your friends, Gunn? Gunn's like, I'll show myself out. Knowing full damn well that he's at least partially responsible for the state of Lorne's bar. Or, if nothing else, he's associated with the people who did it.
Right.
And that's enough for Lorne to be upset.
Whether it's right or not, it's still, hey, dude, your presence is very upsetting given the state of this place. Mm-hmm. And Gunn is like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'll step outside.
Which is pretty cool of him.
Yeah.
And so the dad questions the legitimacy of a dude in makeup and wearing fake horns as
I fucking love how...
I say, are you an industry contact?
I fucking love how Lorne is like, oh, I'm not lying at all. I am not carrying on with your fucking bullshit story. These are real horns. This is my real skin, bitch.
I have been out of the demon closet for years. I am not letting you fuck that up.
Because, Cordy and Angel both try to, get him to, play along.
Yeah.
And Lorne is having fucking none of it.
Zero of it. Dad starts to question whether these detectives are just terrible at their jobs or if they don't actually want them to find Fred.
And, that's a valid fucking question.
It's starting to be. And Angel takes Lorne aside. Lorne tries to make it all about him at using a distraction tactic when Angel presses him for helping find Fred. And Angel calls him out on his bullshit, figuring out quickly that he knows where she is. And he falls back to talking about pimentos and olives. Yeah. How the hell do they get them in there anyway? They have some sort of pimento stuffing machine?
And the answer is, yes, in fact, they do.
Yes. That is an excellent question. I'm so glad you asked me that. Lorne breaks, and he admits he knows, but he argues that she doesn't want to see her parents, and they should respect that. And Angel argues, well, at least they're there now to protect her. And if they don't do something now, maybe they won't be there to protect her next time.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good, solid argument.
To me, here's the biggest thing for me with this. Given everything that goes on with this crew, they know, A, they either need to figure out if these are actually Fred's parents or not. They need Fred to do that. Or B, it is Fred's parents, and they need some level of proof that Fred doesn't want to actually see her parents, because all they got is a a letter, who the fuck knows where that letter came from? Angel Investigations, they haven't seen the fucking letter. So, like, if I were in Angel's position, I would be like, well, if these aren't Fred's parents, we want to know that. If they are Fred's parents, we want to know that. If they are and Fred doesn't want to see them, we want to know that so we can help respect that.
Yeah.
If it is Fred's parents and she does want to see them and some sort of situation is causing it where they're about to walk away, like, that would be upsetting too. Like, everything from Angel's perspective, I think, points to, look, I understand that maybe she doesn't want to see her parents, but this needs to be sorted. Like, you can't just run from this shit. It won't go away on its own.
I say this is a dilly of a pickle and it needs to be et. That is my summation of everything Rex just said.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Good summation.
Thank you. So Angel's like, tell me where Fred is. I know you're not a slot machine. Because at the beginning of the conversation, Lauren accused him. He's like, hey, I'm not some spiritual vending machine. So he corrects him. He says, vending machine, you big palooka. And I'm like, what is a palooka?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Did you Google it?
I didn't bother to Google it.
I have to Google it now.
All right.
That is an actual word that is informal slang that means a stupid, clumsy, or uncouth person.
Huh.
The example sentence is, these bearded, stumbling palookas in their peasants' breeches.
Peasants.
Yeah. That's how fucking dated it is.
That's special. So Lauren's like, all right, but play this one delicately, bro, because it's going to get messy. And yeah, I'm just thinking this whole time, like, man, how fucking abusive are these parents?
Right.
These are some scary fucks. Blah.
It's so much worse than that, in a way. It really is.
Yeah, we'll get there. So we cut to the bus station where Fred nervously babbles to herself on a bench next to a homeless person.
I love this joke.
And when she starts reciting pie, the homeless person gets up and leaves.
I love this joke. She's acting so crazy that she makes the homeless person nervous.
Right.
It's a very good joke. It's subtle and just super clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fred's parents, along with Angel, walk up to the counter of the bus station, and Fred sees them and freaks out, starts running away and yelling, "You're not real!" and then has a big old breakdown as they run to her, but she, turns out, just hasn't been able to process her whole experience in the other dimension as real.
Yeah, the summation quote, because she says a lot.
Yeah.
But the line that she says that really summarizes everything she's saying is, but if you're here and you see me, then it's real and it did happen.
Mm-hmm. So she's just been caught up in her own denial about the whole situation. It was a defense mechanism that she needed while she was in the other dimension, but now she needs to come back to Earth, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And this was the last piece of the puzzle, seeing her parents. And now that her parents are here, she has to accept the reality of the other dimension and that she's not stuck in a fantasy book, which honestly, it sounds more terrifying to me to live as if you're stuck in a fantasy world.
Right? Like, well, it's, I mean,
but I guess after using that as a coping mechanism for long enough, you get stuck there.
I mean, that's the entire question of the Matrix.
Right.
Like, if you know the world you're in is not real, do you want to stay there?
Right.
But if you exit the Matrix, the world is hell.
Luckily for her, it's the other way around this time.
Yes.
The real world is less hell than the alternate dimension. So, yeah, this actually seems like a perfectly healthy, super cathartic breakthrough, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. She unquestionably needed this.
And I could not for the life of me figure out, I had no idea what in the hell Lauren was thinking by telling her to run farther from her parents.
But yeah, given his history with his family.
Yeah.
But also,
seems like he would have a little more insight into the fact that that's not how that works for everybody,
right.
And that she actually had a good relationship with her parents. So I still don't 100% get where he was coming from.
One of the things that he did say to Angel is, this is going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly because he knows what she has to face to see her parents. She has to face the reality of what she went through when she sees her parents.
Yeah.
And
now, if he were an empath demon, that would make more sense because all he would be feeling is her fear of having to face that.
But he gets actual visions.
But he knows the outcome of this, which is arguably far better than had she successfully been able to continue running.
Maybe he knows that she needs to try and keep running and fail at it rather than turn to face it. Because if she turns to face it, then she can kind of brace for impact, so to speak. And then that would maybe not have as much of an effect on her as having to face this without that bracing.
Well, then that means he was putting on a little act when he was pretending not to know where she was with Angel.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
I think he's totally capable of that.
He definitely is. Okay, I guess I'll leave that there on the table as a headcanon.
And I totally believe it because he was specifically not playing into the lie of him being an actor because he knew he didn't fucking need to. Because he knew that her parents would fucking get it.
Okay.
See?
Sure.
It works.
It all works out.
Yeah. Lauren is awesome.
So, what's awesome?
Lauren,
yes. Lauren is awesome. Thank you. I knew that. Anyway, a giant, scary, stupid mantis demon drops down, I guess, from the ceiling? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or he leaps across the room. It looks like he drops down. And the dad's like, well, that thing's from the movies, right?
that is, by the way, a badass fucking costume.
It's pretty neat.
This is for a fucking random monster of the week, just one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a badass looking costume.
It's a good costume, but it's not great effects. Which,
No.
Because every time it's on screen, they have to do this weird motion blur thing, because I don't think the costume... It would have been really cheesy the way the costume moved.
Yeah.
But it looks great statically.
Statically, it's a fucking amazing looking costume.
Mm-hmm. And Cordy's like, shut up and run, stupid. And Angel says he can handle it, so he stays behind as everybody else runs out the door. They panic that all their weapons are still at the hotel, but maybe they have some in the trunk. And they're like, it's okay. Angel said he could handle it. Crash. Hey, guys, I brought more Kool-Aid.
Actually, the bug gave him the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Here, you'll need this. Woof. Crash. Thank you.
You were right.
So they finally drop the act, and Wes tells the Roger the truth about Angel.
He's a vampire. He's a vampire.
He's a vampire, but he's got a soul. I'll tell you the whole thing if we live through this. And they find some golf clubs, and Gunn finds a bow and arrow, and they all start taking shots at the demon. Fred picks up a golf club that gets knocked out of someone's hands. I'm not sure. Was it Cordy? Somebody gets knocked over. Angel gets knocked over like 3 times.
Oh, God, yeah. Angel's just beating the hell.
He gets the shit kicked out of him. But he's good for it. He's a trooper. He's a champ.
Fred actually goes to help.
Yeah.
Fred attacks the bug with a fucking 9-iron.
5-iron.
Oh, sorry, 5-iron.
Is what Gunn says later.
5-iron. Her dad even pitches in to help, which, holy shit, he's a normie.
Comes at it with a garbage can.
Go him.
I mean, he's just protecting his daughter.
But still.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that a normal person usually would just go fucking catatonic during this sort of thing. So go him.
Yeah, that's a very likely scenario to freeze in your place and something that fucked up happening.
Oh, yeah. Fred does get a wound, and then somehow the thing gets knocked back and then hit by a bus. The mantis sends Angel flying one more time, and then it had Angel pinned to another bus. Right.
And I think that's just where it was. They were out in a lane, and then it unexpectedly gets smashed by a passing bus. throwing bug guts all over everyone, especially Fred, but especially the windshield.
Yeah.
Ew.
And then it's revealed that the bus was being driven by Fred's mom.
And she hit it on purpose.
Yeah.
And she gets out and she is absolutely ecstatic that her bus driving skills earned her a demon kill. I can relate.
It's like that moment when after you've like learned a thing years ago and then something comes up where you get to express this knowledge that you had that you haven't touched in years.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh my God, I get to talk about this."
Like you talking about comic books.
Yeah,
last
exactly.
episode. But she's ridiculous. And you very much see Fred in her in this moment.
Yes.
She's like, did I get it?
I have to say the casting of Fred's mom, fucking perfect.
Spot on.
Like it
Both
is
of them, Roger, too.
So believable that these are her parents.
Very much so. And everybody just kind of stands there silently in awe of the situation.
Yeah.
And we cut back to the Hyperion.
I was hoping for some demon fighting tonight, and wound up with a delivery job instead. If I come back here on the end of a spatula, I'm expecting some serious workman's comp. I'm just messing with y'all.
Cordy is given some first aid, and she's kind of laying things out to Fred's parents.
Yeah, they all chat nicely now that they've all bonded over murdering a poor innocent giant mantis demon.
Yeah, poor innocent.
That's correct. It was just trying to save its own babies, but we haven't gotten there.
Right.
So, just like Fred's parents were doing. There's a theme.
Shit, that didn't even click till you just said that.
Yeah, ditto. I just thought of that. Just thought of that.
Damn! Look at that.
Oh, jeez. It's like there's layers to this onion. Fred's mom gets a little nauseous over the Dursler demon head just laying around as Fred notices some crystals on the side of it. Gunn, not knowing that it's actually paper mache, walks away with it going, women. She makes bug soup out of a giant mantis demon, but she can't handle a little paper mache head. And he sets it on the counter next to Angel.
And
it's like
Angel and
arranging its hair.
Right. Angel and Wesley are like, that's real.
That's not paper mache. He's like, do we still have that bleach in the bathroom? And heads straight to the bathroom. And I hope he cleans off the doorknob.
Yeah.
Granted, they're just letting the head lay around the fucking hotel. Like, get rid of that thing. Are you going to have it mounted or not, Angel? Are you going to
done something to help preserve it by now?
Are you going to mount it or not? Are you masturbating with this head or are you getting rid of it, Angel? What is going on? What is going on? The bugs fucked the Dursler demon's head. Why can't Angel? We all need to put our eggs and seed into this Dursler demon's head. It's just that time of day.
Everyone put your eggs in one basket.
Ew. Oh my God. We're never going to get any other interviews. They're going to listen to this episode, this timestamp, and go, these people are fucking freaks.
Maybe Harry Groner was did the interview with us, and then afterwards he's like, I should listen to some of this guy's episodes and listen to him. He's like, oh, I got to tell everyone to run.
I imagine he walked away from that and said, that's not what I signed on for at all. The look on his face a couple of times, I was like, oh, that poor bastard.
Yeah, he was kind of...
We were too weird for him. It's like, really? You were in professional film in the 90s, bro.
You're an actor, and for fuck's sake.
Oh, well. What are you going to do?
You're a theater kid.
Yeah, presumably. Oh, well. So, where were we? It's not paper mache. Gunn runs to the bleach. Angel and Wesley watch with satisfaction as Fred and her parents all seem so happy to be reunited. And
Cordy announces that it's now Angel's turn, and he giddily goes, "Oh, yay, my turn," and runs over. And he's a dork. I love it when he's a dork.
He is a huge dork, and Cordy specifically calls him a dork. And I couldn't agree more. But also, they themselves are an adorably little happy family.
Yeah.
And that's another theme. It's like they don't even understand that they have what they have. And so Fred is talking to Wesley, remarks how she's okay now because Angel saved her, and gushes as she's telling her mother everyone's roles on the team, which makes her realize suddenly that as she gets to herself, she doesn't really know what her role is on this team.
Right.
And nobody else butts in to be like, "Oh, you're the physicist. Every detective agency needs a physicist." Yeah. No, but nobody does that. So this is
to
where
be fair, they didn't hear her say this. None of the actual team here heard her say this to her parents.
I don't know what you mean.
Because she's telling her parents that, Angel's the champion, Wesley's the brains, and all this, and none of the other team.
No, Wesley was
he?
there for that.
Oh, then
I don't know if anybody else. I don't know if anybody else was, but Wesley.
Well, then,
definitely
goddamn it, Wesley.
Yeah, he just kind of had a crestfallen look on his face as
he's just glowing from the compliment to himself.
Right.
She thinks I'm smart.
Aw. So. Yeah, this is where we learn what the parents were talking about earlier when they asked, "Is it time yet?" And they meant calling the police. Which,
in hindsight, they probably should have way sooner than they were talking about it.
Yeah, that's legit at this point. Because Roger's like, "To think I was going to call the police on a bunch of superheroes. I say. And Angel and Roger bond over a reference to the 1963 Bob Hope Desert Classic. It's a really very nerdy moment.
But also like, oh, right, Angel's old.
Angel's old. I mean, maybe I just thought it was dumb because I have no idea what the Bob Hope Desert Classic is. Was it a golf game?
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's fun. So Fred says, "Fuck it. I'm going to go home where it's safe." And her parents are super supportive and happy about her decision to come home. Gunn and Wesley agree. Wes is looking a bit sad about it, but he agrees she'll probably be happier there.
Yes, the Bob Hope Desert Classic is a golf tournament.
Okay.
Specifically in Southern California.
Interesting. Okay. Has Angel been around California specifically that long?
Yeah.
Seems likely. Yeah, the 60s. Yeah, he was...
Because he was in this hotel in,
That's right.
In the, 50s or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's been around.
Huh. Isn't it handy we were there to get all that information during that episode?
Yeah.
Huh. So now we cut to Fred's room, and Angel stops in to check on Fred. She invites him in as kind of a bittersweet nostalgia because she won't be seeing him back home, even though she knows that she doesn't need to.
Right.
And he asks how she is, and she lists off 15 different emotions. Very thorough of her.
Yeah, she's very thorough.
He asks if she's going to remember all the writing on the walls. She claims it'll be easy because it tells a story of a handsome man who saves a girl from a horrible cave and takes her back to his castle, but then he leaves. So she accidentally creates a new cave, hoping that he'd save her again. And then she kind of comes back to reality for a moment. She's like, but you can't do that again, can you?
Nope.
Yeah. And Angel doesn't really say anything, but the writing's on the walls. Hey-o!
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Back to the lobby. Cordy and Trish are chatting about monster movies and how Roger loves them, and Trish can't believe it's all real. Cordy assures her that the demons in the other dimensions definitely are real.
Aliens, maybe.
Yeah, well, talk to the guy with the weird fro in 10 or 20 years, and he'll tell you otherwise. Gunn and Roger admire Fred's contraption. Wesley is a huge nerd. As he butts in, he says, "Yes, we think it's some sort of mechanized weapon, possibly influenced by the medieval catapult, designed for serious or fatal wounding, if not complete decapitation."
Or it's a toaster.
This is my quote of the day, as Wesley looks very defeated as he says, "Or it makes toast." And Fred comes down the stairs, foreshadowing everyone. Trish is very specifically asking if Fred threw away the shirt with all the bug guts on it.
And she's like, no, I'm keeping it as a souvenir.
Which
I thought she was joking.
I thought she was being completely sarcastic here.
She's not.
Which is completely explains the weird delivery of that line.
Right.
I'm like, wow, somebody really just let her go with that. And they're like, she took it seriously. I like that angle. No, it's because it's an actual plot point that and that's why they established that Roger likes gross horror movies. And when she says, I'm keeping it as a souvenir, he says, that's my girl.
Right.
So the writers did their jobs here.
No, it's very clever. It's very clever.
When you're looking back at it. But in the moment, it feels like she's just being sarcastic.
But also it feels right, even in the moment where you're like, oh man, she is an awkward person.
She's very bad at being sarcastic, was all I figured. Yeah. And so she hugs everyone goodbye, except for Angel, who just hands her a bag and says, bye, Fred. But because that's still the closest he can get to being emotional, I guess. It was very subtle, but it worked.
No, they totally made out before they came downstairs, I'm sure.
I believe it. That's my headcanon. Oh, I was shipping these two. I'm like, damn it!
Right?
She wants you so bad, Angel.
And for fuck's sake, he needs to be interested in someone who's not a fucking blonde.
Right? Give the girl what she wants. A hard, hot dickin'.
Just don't fall in love with her.
Yeah.
Platonic fucking, no worries.
It's not a problem. This doesn't have to be perfect happiness, bro. It's very rare. Anyway. Oh, jeez. Sex is funny and fun to talk about.
We're better behaved in real life, mostly.
Yeah, we're putting on a show. That's right.
Yeah.
Good cover up, Rex. Well done.
I can hold a note for a long time. Actually, I can hold a note forever. But eventually, that's just noise. It's the change we're listening for. The note coming after and the one after that. That's what makes it music.
From here, we cut to the taxi of them driving to the airport, where it is talked about how their parents, or how her parents rented out her room. And, the guy's lease is up in a month, but hey, we'll work it out.
Yeah, won't be a problem at all. She's like, well, you rented out my room? They're like, well, you were gone for 4 years. How were we supposed to know? She's like, well, I was kidnapped into an alternate dimension, which they squeeze a very tiny joke out of with the fucking taxi driver. And the mom's like, well, she was. See, they don't mind telling all the normies about weirdo-ness.
And then this is the moment when Fred looks into her bag, sees the crystals on the shirt, and from that one clue puts everything to fucking together.
Because she's a genius.
Jeez.
She's a weird genius.
And then she quickly tells the cabbie to turn the car around.
Do it now.
Do it now.
And we cut
back to the hotel.
So we cut back to the office of the hotel. Everyone sits around and enjoying a communally missing Fred session. Everybody's all sad. And Cordy, however, weirdly misses Fred's parents.
No. This right here is so true to life because I've had this moment with friends where I meet one of my friend's parents and they're like super normal and nice people. Mm-hmm. And then all of us weirdos are like, man, it would have been so nice to have nice, normal parents.
Good parents who care and are supportive and show affection.
Yeah.
Gee. Wouldn't it be nice to be well-adjusted, Rex?
I can't even imagine.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. So, yeah, Cordy weirdly misses Fred's parents. They all agree that Fred's parents weren't just nice. They were loving and supportive, which I don't think any of this group really knows what it's like to experience. I can relate, as we just did. Also, Ken Rex did.
Yeah.
Also, previously. Cordelia's happy that Fred has a shot at a normal life and bemoans that nothing's ever normal around here. Cut to the severed head as it starts to pulsate and shit starts to poke through it.
Yeah. And back to the group. They're talking about how they'll all miss Fred.
Angel thinks Fred was soothing.
Quote of the day here. He says, "She was just this nice, quiet kind of crazy. I found that soothing."
Mm-hmm. And Cordy gets uppity about it, and she's like, "Hey, I'm not soothing. I could soothe your ass off, pal." And personally, I'm like, all right, get to soothing. Oh, that's right. You'd rather sit around being snarky and judgy all the time. Okay. Cordelia has her tender moments.
She does.
But a generally soothing presence doesn't hold a candle to Fred.
No.
And all Gunn can say about Fred is, oh boy, she sure was handy with a 5-iron. Wow.
So at first I was like, God damn, Gunn, what the fuck? Because this whole episode, he's like barely plugged in.
Yeah.
I slightly think that he's trying to not have feelings for Fred. I think he's like trying to back off and trying to not pay attention and like put that out.
That's possible.
Like, out of his mind.
That's
kind
good
of thing.
headcanon. Yeah.
Because he does, like, he's had a few moments here and there where he like looks at her and is like, hey, I'm interested in that. But just with this episode, it's like, get with it, man.
Well, and
with it.
You can tell from this episode that Wesley's the one who's very interested in Fred.
Yeah.
Which we haven't quite gotten to the real click moment for that.
Right.
But we'll get there. So Cordelia pretends to be happy that Fred's gone, but no one buys it.
No.
And then she's like, all right, well, I'm going to go home, eat some comfort food, cry a bit, and curl up under a big fluffy mantis demon. And they're surrounded by mantis demons as they all rush.
The effect of all of them outside the window was so awful.
It was pretty terrible. And I really wonder, like, did they make that many mantis demon costumes?
No. Oh, God, no. That was very much, because they were all roughly the same angle as well.
Uh-huh.
And so I think, honestly, it was just, okay, let's edit in all these fucking
They took a bunch of shots of him standing in a different place.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
I don't even
superimposed
think it was that far. I think they just took, like, basically cut and pasted multiple copies of the same image onto the film kind of thing. Like, I don't even think they, like, did multiple recordings and then layered them. No, I don't think they went that far. I think they took one static view and then just edited in all the separate different mantises because they all look way too alike.
Well, who knows? But yeah, we can all agree that the motion effects for this mantis demon were awful.
Yeah.
Even though the makeup for this demon was excellent. So anyway, they're surrounded by mantis demons, and as everybody rushes for weapons, Angel is quickly pinned to the floor. Fred rushes in, and she throws down her axe mechanism and triggers it, and we finally get to see it in action.
She steps on the spatula, and out pops toast!
Wesley has a tub of butter waiting. And they feed all the mantis demons some toast.
Yeah.
And everybody goes home.
Everyone's happy.
And then the mantis demons murder everyone.
But no, actually it does launch an axe.
It launches an axe, and it chops the Dursler demon's head in half, releasing a bunch of cockroaches.
Yeah, they're definitely cockroaches.
Yeah, just
they're supposed to be like baby mantis things.
Actual cockroaches. You know, I can't really get too mad about animal rights in this one.
No. It was probably much easier to get a bunch of cockroaches than, like, say, a bunch of mantises.
Or mantis demons, baby mantis demons. I wanted to see real mantis baby demons. Damn it. Okay. I have standards.
But yeah, Fred saved the fucking day. Once the bugs are out of the head. That's an interesting sentence. Once the bugs are out of the head, the mantis demons all fuck off because they just were there. They were there for their young, and that's it.
Yep. And Gunn brilliantly discerns that it was not a toaster.
Nope.
Fred explains her thought process. Basically, when she noticed the crystals on her clothes, she realized that the crystals on the Dursler demon's head didn't come from the Dursler. Therefore, it must have come into contact with the Mantis demon, and having eggs in its head would explain why it was acting out of character in the ice cream shop for a Dursler demon. So it was still kind of a leap, in my opinion, to thinking that there were eggs in the Dursler demon's head, but not so much of a leap that I can't just let it go.
Like, it feels right enough that somebody who is that intelligent could fucking deduce something like that.
Sure. So with the making the assumption that it's got eggs in its head, she knew that more of the mantis demons would be coming for the eggs, since she hypothesizes that they are a hive species. And that must have been why the first one was there in the first place.
Yep.
And so Angel and Wesley are all proud of her and shit. Wait, I'm going to back up, though. Why did it come to the bus station? The head was at the hotel.
I suspect it came to the bus station because it was following Angel.
Because he killed the Dursler demon.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll buy that. So Angel and Wesley are all proud of Fred and shit, and Fred lets loose that she thinks that this is her true path in life, and she has to break it to her parents that she's staying instead of going home. Wesley puts it to a very one-sided vote whether or not she can stay. Everyone who's all for Fred staying, say aye. Oh, great, you're staying. It's decided. And Roger and Trish are staying an extra couple of days to make sure that she's sure about her decision, because I say we miss you and shit.
Yeah.
He says a couple of weeks at first, and she's like, I may miss you, but you're still my parents.
Yeah. And hey, it works out. They have a whole fucking hotel.
Like, you know what? They could actually stay a couple weeks, and it probably wouldn't be that bad.
Exactly.
They have a hotel. So Fred is like, oh, I think I know where I'll end up. I'm like, that's right. Underneath Wesley. Giggity. So, cut to Fred's room.
Yep, where they're painting the walls, erasing all the mad scribbles.
Angel and Roger are talking about conspiracy theories, specifically Spiro Agnew being a Grathnar demon. You know who that was?
No, I don't.
Nixon's vice president.
Oh.
So that tracks.
Yeah.
I recognized the name because I was like, wait, that's what Nixon's head on Futurama is always. He's talking to the headless robot that's carrying him around. He's like, Agnew.
Oh.
So I never knew that was his vice president, but it makes sense now. So Wesley and Gunn bicker over the direction of painting with the roller. Oh, you're going to get those dribbles if you go side to side. Whatever, who cares? So Trish puts them in their place. She's like, no fighting, boys. Cordy comes in with a pizza, offering some to Fred. Fred's like, maybe in a minute. And she just needs to have herself a spiritual cleansing moment of painting over her drawing of her and Angel on a horse together.
Yeah.
It's sad, but cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Gerarg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Nights I shall walk in the earth.
Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
How'd you feel about this episode, Josh?
This episode was fantastic character growth for Fred.
Yes.
And that's all it needed to be. And I appreciate it for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the number one thing I want to say about Amy Acker, I can't imagine the level of fucking talent it has to take to be able to babble like that. To just go on and on. Like that seems so fucking difficult to me. And like there's a lot of times in other shows where you have
at the very least to make it seem natural.
Right. And she does.
If that is if she's not ad-libbing that at all, if that's how they wrote those lines verbatim, then to make that seem natural, that is a task.
So the thing that always comes to mind with this sort of thing, in the first episode of Firefly, when River, who again, is another character who tends to babble and say crazy shit. When she's first introduced, her quote crazy babble it feels awkward, and the delivery and everything, it just doesn't feel very natural and genuine. But Amy Acker fucking nails it. There isn't a moment where she's just kind of babbling to herself that doesn't feel exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking impressive.
It is. Yeah, I love that we're finally done with this whole beginning of the season shit where every episode there's just this shtick of, come on out, it's okay. Oh, it's not okay.
Right.
They overplayed that joke one too many times, and I'm
Yes.
glad we're pretty much done with that. As far as Cordelia and Gunn, I feel like Gunn especially got the short stick on this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been getting the short stick on a lot of episodes, and I'm kind of tired of that. Like, they've done gun development episodes, and I still feel like he's getting the short end of the stick. He's still not nearly as fleshed out as they've already made Fred.
One of the problems that this season has had thus far is this is episode 5. We are still dealing with the shit that happened at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Like, for fuck's sake, we're in a new season. Let's move on to new shit.
Right.
I really want this to be the last fucking one.
Mm-hmm.
And let's move on to new shit with the new big bad and everything. Just let's stop dwelling on what happened the last fucking season.
Yeah. Angel doesn't really stick to the big bad formula per se.
Well, no, it doesn't.
And they're still going to bring back Darla one more time.
Yeah. I'm just tired of Darla.
Yeah, just get her back. Let's get it over with already.
Hey, at least this fucking episode, they didn't have, oh, look what's happening with Darla moment in the fucking show.
Yeah, not this episode. They've been doing that like every other.
Yeah.
I think. And I'm still not sure which one she actually comes back in.
But no, I think overall the execution of the episode was great. The character development for Fred was fantastic and so fucking needed.
The Monster of the Week fit the theme.
Exactly.
Looking for your children.
And it wasn't something that felt painfully shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Like, it actually, like, worked.
Mm-hmm.
A solid fucking episode. Not the best episode ever, but it was, for a Monster of the Week sort of episode, it was exactly what we could fucking hope for.
Yep. Yeah. Really, the only thing that felt like a leap in this episode to me, which is still barely a leap, is, okay, two things. There was Lorne telling her to run farther.
Right.
Which, okay, given his past, I can kind of understand that. And we laid out some headcanon about maybe he did this on purpose because he knew that it was the best way to make things play out the way they did.
Right.
Which is why
Possible.
Which is why the idea of being able to tell the future is so problematic in writing.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So all right, sure, whatever. But also Fred deducing that there must be eggs in that demon's head was a bit of a leap, but not so big of a leap that it bothers me that much.
Yeah, like
it's a pretty sealed up episode.
If there were maybe like one or two lines of dialogue added that kind of connect an extra dot there, it would have felt a lot better.
Yeah.
But outside of that, headcanon wise, you can kind of chalk it up to, oh, right, Fred's just a fucking genius.
Yeah, like one line about, Wesley finds the demon in a book and says something in a blurb about how it lays its eggs in the heads of other demons.
Exactly.
Something like that would have made it so much easier to swallow. Giggity. Also, ew.
Or hell, even better, and it would have fucking worked without having to add too much into the fucking episode. In the beginning scene when the crew is all fucking inventorying weapons, if they just put Fred sitting at the counter with fucking stacks of demon books, just randomly reading through demon books, that would have been perfect. I think that would have worked great.
Well, even if they had just wasted a little less time on bantering about these stupid fucking weapon sortings,
fair.
Inventory bullshit, and shifted it over so that somebody could have read from a book about it later, because the episode was still 42 minutes long,
right?
So they would have had to cut something, but there was plenty to cut at the beginning of the episode. But anyway,
yeah,
overall I liked it.
I agree.
Not a bad episode.
I agree.
Cool. Well,
You got a quote of the day?
I was just going to ask you the same question. Yes, I do have a quote of the day. I'm giving it to Wesley. Downtrodden, or it makes toast.
I want to say, if I could say, the moment of the day was unquestionably the dramatic reading. Because that moment was like hands down one of the funniest fucking scenes that we've had in Angel yet.
Yeah.
Like it, but you know,
it's like, hey, they're stealing my shtick.
Right. And
you can't do that.
It's a totally meta thing. It probably wouldn't have hit me so fucking hard if it wasn't for the fact that that's something we've been doing for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but outside of that, I have to give also to Wesley my quote of the day. Well, Fred, that's a difficult question. I think it's fair to say no, not a chance, never, no way, not in a million years, and also nuh-uh.
Yeah, I feel a little bad that we're giving both of our quotes of the day to Wesley in this episode that is very much about Fred. Fred doesn't really speak in quotables.
Because she speaks in paragraphs.
Yeah, exactly. She speaks in long paragraphs that it takes that have loosely threaded together thoughts.
Yeah, like I mean, the whole fucking lines that she says when Angel asks how she is. It's like, this is a fucking paragraph. I can't write all of this down.
Right? Who gives 15 emotions as an answer when somebody says, "How are you?"
To be fair, it's probably accurate. It's an accurate answer, but damn.
That's fine, but damn, exactly. All right. Well, I guess that about sums it up. This has been another episode of Ale with Angel. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter or X if you want to. Don't expect much from it, though. In general, let alone our account. If you would like to shop for some of our merchandise, head on over to beerwithbuffy.com/shop. You can also listen to all of our episodes from there, straight from the source. If you want to support us financially, you can go to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. We have a variety of perks, one perk where we will name a cat for you on the episode. If you review us on iTunes, I promise you that is one of the cheapest ways for you and the best ways for us, for you to help us, because it really boosts our algorithm and gets our name and our episodes out there to more and more listeners. Yes. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at beerwithbuffy@gmail.com. If you'd like to text us or leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 269-743-0783, country code 1 if you're calling from outside the United States.
Yes.
Don't forget, we are going on a short sabbatical. We're coming back sometime in January. We will be suspending Patreon payments until we are back.
That is correct.
And don't forget to come listen to Wubble Up a Pod instead during the break. We are releasing bi-weekly on opposite Mondays. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms. It's me and Alex from the Heart. Rex might show up there someday, but
someday
hasn't happened yet.
God, I don't have time.
All that being said, last but not least, big shout out to JJ Treadway for all of our opening, closing, and transitional music. This has been Ale with Angel. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good night.
Keanu Speed, Rex.
Great to be with you.
Whoa.
You are the Slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the Slayer.
Go ahead. Prepare me.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Eons, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One girl in all the world.
Common sense.
One girl in all the world.
Common sense.
All the world.
a bit British, wasn't it?
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?